All right. Good morning, good day, good evening, whatever it may be when you tune in here. We have session number 3 of our beginner series. So let's begin. We'll do a little review of what we went through before. So we did the simple warm-ups the first week. Last week we focused on the breath, a lot about the breath. So we'll revisit a little bit of what we did last week, and then today we'll start also diving into a basic sun salutation, which is something you will see very often in a yoga practice. So let's first set up with a little bit of breathing. So you may want to have props with you, coming into a comfortable seated position, perhaps sitting up on a block or two, or a blanket. And just let yourself be nice and comfortable here. Stacking one heel in front of the other, taking the knees maybe even a little bit wider if that's comfortable for you today. And just being here. Feel your hips sit nice and neutral in place. So remember, we don't want to feel like we're leaning back or forward. We want to feel nice and neutral. Your sit bones are pressing down. Let's bring the hands onto the hips and just feel your hips neutral in space. Make any little adjustments that you need to. Keep the hands on the hips and just begin gentle breathing in and out of the nose. And do your best to bring the breath in and down. Allow the ribs and the lungs to get wide. And then the breath comes up and out. Draw your belly in, really squeeze the breath out, and then allow the belly to expand as you breathe in. Notice any shifts in your hips. Do your best to keep the shoulders away from the ears. Reach up through the back of your head so you can feel length through your entire spine. And you could keep your hands on your hips if you're finding this really helpful, or release your arms straight. Hands come toward the knees, backs of the hands pressing into the knees to help you sit a little bit taller. So tapping into that little bit of resistance between the backs of your hands and your knees, and your ability to then draw your navel in on your exhales. Find that lovely little squeeze through the lower body. And then you can lengthen the spine on your exhales. Feel the shoulders move away from the ears. And just practice breathing here. Continuously reaching up through the back of the head. And while we're here for the next minute or so, we can move into Chin Mudra. So this is bringing your index finger and thumb together. This is a very popular mudra used in a lot of yoga classes. You will very commonly see this mudra. And this is connecting your individual self, your individual consciousness with universal consciousness. You could consider that the unified field of consciousness. So this is making that connection to your mind-body awareness, to that which is here and now, and that which is way beyond our perception of here and now. And the knowing that both exist simultaneously. And whether we acknowledge their existence or not, we are still part of it. Beautiful. So notice you might be feeling some tension or resistance along your back somewhere. Maybe your hips feel a little bit tight. Sitting on the floor can be quite stressful on the body. And also, finding that quiet inner space can be stressful at first too, because it encourages us to look deeply at ourselves. And sometimes we live with a lot of noise, a lot of opportunity to shut ourselves out and disregard our mind, disregard our body, and disconnection between the two of them. So just notice what presents itself here and now. And we'll bring some movement into the body, opening away from Chin Mudra, so all fingers extend. Inhale, just reach your hands up toward the ceiling. Now remember, keep your shoulders down. Maybe your palms can come together, but if the shoulders start to lift around your ears, don't bother. Keep some tension in your arms and see if you can squeeze your triceps as your fingertips reach up, and you'll feel your shoulder blades just settle onto your back. And then exhale, just let your hands release and bend your elbows out to the side like a cactus. So we'll work on that action a little bit more, because it's really important for working in through sun salutations as well, and just reaching arms overhead in general is an important move to check in with the balance of our shoulders and our general range of motion and awareness as well through the upper back and even the abdominals, all around the ribs. There's a lot of work that takes place in order to just simply reach the arms overhead. So start bringing your hands onto your shoulders, elbows stay out. And just draw the elbows back a little bit, but without puffing out your chest. So look down to your chest, pull your belly in, and just see in your peripheral vision that your elbows are in the same line as your shoulders. And then bring your head back up neutral. Good. And then start to reach the fingertips up, pointing the palms to one another, and then fingertips can meet above the head, kind of like a little pyramid over your head. And just breathe in and out here. You might really start to feel this in the upper back. I know I feel some tension there today as well. This is a lot of strength. This is a lot of patience required to be here. Let's work a little more. You could stay here, or using even more muscular strength, maybe the palms come closer together as you bring length and extension through the arms. Ooh. Breathe in, breathe out. If your arms feel like they're on fire, that's what we're going for here, but not pinching pain or like nerve fire pain. We just want to feel that internal heat. And then exhale when you're ready. Slowly release. Fingertips come down to the mat, just outside your hips. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Okay, so from this place, just nice and easy, if you were seated on a block, remove it and set it aside. And we'll open the legs wide. Not intensely wide, but wide enough that it's a little bit of a challenge. If it's challenging for you to keep your hips in a neutral place here, put your blocks behind your knees, so your knees are bent in this position. Okay, so it'll look more like having the blocks under here like that. Okay, so that's really going to help keep your hips in a neutral place, and you should be able to feel your sit bones pushing down. You might need to bring your legs slightly closer together, right? It might look like here. Maybe you need more support closer to your closer into your hips, so you can come up your thighs a little bit. And you can even lean forward, because that's what we're eventually getting into. So we want to find the place where it's comfortable for us to lean forwards. Your arms could be on the ground, on your legs, whatever works. But finding that sweet spot where your pelvis can be neutral and your legs can feel relatively relaxed, that's the trick, is to set yourself upright. Once you're set upright, we'll just gently hinge forwards, if you haven't done that already. So this is a really wonderful posture just to use regularly. If you find that you experience anxiety a lot, this position can really help ground everything down and alleviate a lot of those symptoms. So if you can be here, and you could even use your hands, or if you have an extra block under your forehead, you can just be here and then focus on your breathing. So that's what we're going to do. Think about the same work of the breath that we've been doing the last couple weeks. Expand through your belly, but also through your back. So remember last week we breathed into the back when we had that support with the bolster. So we want to try that again here, but without the support. So think about breathing into the kidney region. Still find movement through your belly each time you inhale and exhale. Feel your breath move down the back a little bit more. And again, tune into your mind, what's coming up. Because again, when things get quiet, when things get still, that's usually when the inner voice pipes up a little bit more. And we want to listen to the messages that come through. They're not always messages of truth, but they are opportunities for us to observe what exactly is going around in our own minds. Another few cycles of breath here. And this is a nice way to start learning how to find your edges as well. And we've talked about this a little bit in the sense of we're not trying to force ourselves into any of these poses. We're working to find a comfortable space, a manageable space in these postures. Everybody's shape is going to be slightly different. Everybody's support system is going to look slightly different at different times. So be kind to yourself and be patient with the process. When you're ready, slowly inhale yourself up from where you were. Now nice and gently, just lean back a little bit so you can bend your right knee in and just bring the foot in. And lay the right knee wide as you just bring the right heel in toward the midline. So now you may prefer to have, you can still have the other block if you're using the blocks behind the knees. You can still keep that one block, but then add one under the outer thigh on the right side. Okay, so remember the important element here is to be able to keep your hips neutral, because otherwise you're going to create even more imbalances through your body. If your foundation isn't solid and then you go into different types of movement, well, you're not fully integrated in your foundation, right? So your body's going to compromise. Your body is incredibly intelligent, so it will find a way to make it work, but we want to work in the way that's more optimal for the body, right? So that's why we need to listen and pay attention to our own practice, because we are all going to look a bit different, right? So we really need to learn how to listen. So make sure those hips are solid, your foundation is solid. Just nice and slowly start to turn your upper body over to the right. So we're really working, think of opening the spaces of the sides of your lungs as we go into this lovely hinge of the spine. So your left hand stays on the mat. Start to bring your left shoulder toward your left knee. You definitely don't need to touch. The left elbow can come to the ground. Right fingers reach up and over toward the left foot. Now, sometimes even getting that right arm up can be a lot. So you might like to start with your right hand to your right hip and just kind of like toward the top of the hip, I should say. And you can even just gently massage downward and make sure that your right hip is nice and rooted and that you can open your chest. So this is beautiful. I love just hanging out here and breathing. And you do maintain some strength through your neck here. Now, working your arm up, think of bringing the hand toward your face with the palm face down, and then we work that same action we did when we were in the other seated position, where you see your elbow out to the side and then it extends up overhead. You see how that's the same action? It's just that our upper body is hinged differently. So we work those same mechanisms, meaning we're also grounding the hips, we're finding our breath, and opening the chest. You should feel strength all along the right side of the body. And then nice and easy, start to bring the right elbow back in. Mindfully sit yourself up. Gently turn your chest to face your left leg, and then just take a little fold forward with your chest facing your left leg. And now breathe into your back again here. So think of getting really wide across your whole back. Try not to let your chin dip in. Instead, think of opening your throat. Also check in with your elbows. They should just gently start to draw inward toward the body. Nothing too extreme. These are just subtle shifts. Let the body guide you, not the mind. And then slowly inhale yourself up. Turn your chest to face forward. And then we'll gently switch out the leg. So you can lean back a little bit, let your left knee bend in, and your right leg extends back out to the right. So your left knee will be dropped out to the left, your heel in toward the perineum or toward the center of the body. And then maybe you're using those blocks. Maybe one behind and underneath the right knee, and maybe one under the outer left thigh. Maybe you're seated on your blanket. Please honor your body. Make it comfortable. What I'm doing is probably not going to be great for your body, and vice versa, right? So really take that time. Honor your beautiful self. We're nice and tall, and when you're ready, just start to rotate your chest over to the left. So we're looking toward our left knee. Make sure your hips feel balanced. Also, I'm pretty sure I brought this up the other week, or maybe that was another class, but we do not want to pull the flesh out from underneath. Let everything stay in place, okay? But when we pull things out, we stress the heads of the connecting tissues from the muscles into the bones. Yeah, so we want to not do that. We don't want to add more stress, right? Not in this sense anyway. So let's open the chest to the left when you're ready. And then nice and easy, your right hand stays on the mat. We start to bring the right shoulder to the right knee, and the right elbow can come down. And then let's start just right away with the left hand to the top of the left hip, and just guide that left hip downwards a bit as you open your chest a little bit more. So subtle, tiny movements, but gosh, do they feel amazing, yeah? Breathing in, breathing out. And then when you're ready, so see about working that same action. Just start to bring your right or left elbow, rather, bending your left elbow, and bring that hand on top of your left shoulder. Let's try this. So remember when we were seated, your left hand's on your left elbow. Now your left elbow starts to shine up to the ceiling. And then maybe the left fingers extend over toward your right foot. Breathing in, breathing out. Now something I didn't talk about on the other side, because I've been really focusing on the breathing aspect through this posture, but we do want to make sure that those right toes are still facing upwards and that that leg hasn't started to rotate forward or back. So keep everything else in check. Still breathing. Notice all that incredible opening. And then nice and easy, start to bend that left elbow back in and pick yourself up. Beautiful. Neutral spine. Gentle rotation to face your right leg. And then just a mindful fold forward, nothing too deep. Feel that beautiful stretch on the outer left hip. Even the left glute region might feel a little stretch too. Beautiful. And then nice and easy, we'll come all the way up. Gently lean back so you can easily bend your right knee. So now both knees are bent, and just give the legs a little shake. Awesome. So from here, we'll just go into a basic sun salutation. And we'll take it easy. We'll come back down onto the mat in just a moment. But take your time. So we want to get up to standing from here. So there are a few ways you can come up to stand even, depending on your level of flexibility, strength, and overall fitness. So let's say we start just like this. So we had our knees bent. Just bend or open the left knee out to the left and your right foot's in front. And then bring your left hand down onto the mat so you can feel your weight in your left hand and in your right foot. And then lift your hips up, your left foot steps behind you, and just stand up. Okay? We'll just work on that one today. And come to the top of the mat once you're up. So sun salutations are very, very popular in a wide variety of yoga classes. So it's something you want to know how to do. And there are all sorts of varieties of sun salutations that you're likely to see now because, well, we've been doing yoga for quite some time, right? So we evolve the practice, we add things, we add a dash of our own insight, right? So let's just start with something really nice and basic. And this will be like a vinyasa flow. So you'll commonly see this in hatha practice, which is what you will mostly see in studios in North America or even Europe. So with the feet hip distance apart, we inhale, so same motion we've been doing with the arms. Circle them out and up overhead. So that same range of motion. And then on the exhale, the hands come down through heart center. We hinge at the hips, so just like the forward folds we've been doing seated on the ground. And then the fingertips come down to the mat. So now you could bend your knees here. It's not always easy to get those fingertips down to the floor, though you may have noticed you have a little more flexibility than normal because we just did that warming up. But you may need to bend your knees. So if that's the case, let your knees bend. If that's too much, you can have your hands on your shins with straight legs or even on your thighs with straight legs, just not on your knees, okay? So when we come into these forward folds, it's up to you to decide what really works best for you. And remember, more is not always better, deeper is not always better. We're in a like less is more type situation. That's what we want to work so that we can really maintain the integration. So then from here, our fingertips will come completely down to the mat. Again, bend your knees as much as you need, and then walk one foot back and then the other, and we enter into plank. So plank, well, it needs a whole class in itself because it takes a lot of strength to be here with the hands under shoulders, maybe a little wider, and hips on a nice diagonal from the shoulders. So we avoid having the hips high, and we avoid having the hips too low. We got to find the sweet spot. Having the knees down is an excellent way to begin. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate it with knees down as we now move into chaturanga. So the elbows pull back into my ribs and waist, and my chest pulls forward and down, and then my hips come down. Untuck the toes, inhale, cobra pose, and then exhale, just push yourself up and back, use your knees, tuck your toes, downward dog. Okay, so all of these postures are extremely common, and also there's a lot to them. So do your best when you're in your downward dog to have your elbow creases face each other, and then maybe even a little forward or maybe completely to each other. It depends on your body. But you've got to be able to listen to what suits you. You want to feel the humerus bones, the upper arm bones, send in shoulder sockets to the point where we feel all of those beautiful spaces around the ribs that we were just opening up. We feel them get stronger here, and we can push into our hands to reach our hips out of our armpits, and the belly button pulls in. We draw length down through the backs of the legs, hide the heels behind the feet, behind the ankles. You might even have your heels up off the mat. Yeah? And then nice and easy, we look forwards and walk the feet up to the hands. Flat back. You could bring your hands on your shins or again on your thighs or the floor, depending on your body. And then we exhale, stand up. Okay? So that's one flow. We'll do it 2 more times. Just see how it is. Make any adjustments you need. Start to see if you can tap in to your sweet spots here. And really observe that range of motion in your shoulders and the integration of your core as you breathe in and out so that you can properly move here with integrity. Inhale, so double check feet hip distance, arms out to sides, up to ceiling. Check your shoulders, palms together if available. Down through heart center with the hands. We're exhaling, we hinge at the hips. Let your knees bend as much as you need. Fingertips find the ground. Look forward. This is a flat back pose. Your hands could come to your shins or thighs. And then exhale, bring your palms down. Walk into plank. One leg back than the other. Hold your plank. Use your knees if you need. Pull the chest slightly forwards as you lower a straight line. Notice my bum is not high or low. It's in line. And then forward and up. Upward dog, knees are lifted, and then over the toes, hips up and back, downward dog. So it's the same thing, just a slightly different variation. Gaze forward, walk the feet up to the hands, flat back, and then we'll fold here. So take a little bend in your knees if you need. Your arms could wrap around the backs of the legs. And then inhale, slowly start to gaze forward, release, stand all the way up, reach the hands up. And then hands down through heart center and by the sides. Same thing, just a few differences. So, you can still, of course, choose to do the first variation that we did, and we'll do one more so you can try it out, or keep doing the first one and replay this video later and try the other ones another time, right? These videos are not meant to do just one time. This is stuff you do again and again and again and again. All right, let's try this one more time. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant the palms. Now you could walk back or hop back into your chaturanga. And lower down. Lift up, upward dog. Come back, downward dog. Okay, so that's definitely a more advanced variation on the sun salutation. Though it's common, it is more advanced. So I suggest starting with the first variation, get comfortable with it, feel strong with it, and then work your way to the second, and then into that third one that we just did. Breathe in and breathe out. see if you can flex your quadriceps a little bit here, so your thighs. And breathe into your back. Downward dog is often considered a resting pose. I think it's a lot of work, but either way, it can be a resting pose in class sometimes, so get strong with your arms. Think of squeezing your arms probably more than you think you need to. And then look forward to the hands. Walk or hop your feet to your hands. Flat back, breathing in. And we'll do another fold, breathing out. Maybe you grab onto the backs of your legs. Maybe your forehead pulls into your shins. And then we gently release, gaze forward. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Now if you feel lightheaded, you can just bring a palm to your forehead. You can close the eyes for a moment even. And when things feel settled, you can relax the arms. Okay, so that's a basic Hatha Vinyasa flow. So that will happen between postures, generally speaking, kind of as a way to like reset the body and reset the mind. So I suggest practicing through those. If you can, do 15 reps. So either 15 of the first one, or 5 of the first one, 5 of the second one, 5 of the third, however you need to address it according to where you're at right now. Do 15 of them in your own time and see how it feels near the end, and pay attention to all the elements of breath and the alignment that we worked on with the shoulders and the arms. Really focus on that as you're doing it. And then from here, just bring your feet about as wide as the shoulders, maybe even wider, and point your toes out, not too much wider than the shoulders though. So once you've got that, think of pushing your bum back as you bend into your knees. Okay, so that action of pushing the bum backwards. Think of your sit bones reaching for the wall behind you, and you get a deep bend in your knees. Okay, so we're getting into that squatting action. Just do a couple more, just like that, just bending in. And then when you're ready, bend in, and see if your hips can lower down. So you might need to wiggle your feet a little closer together, wider apart, depending on what's up. Your heels might come up as well. You might get to here. See what's up, okay? And then when you're ready, from wherever you've gone, just slowly pick yourself back up, nice and easy, and shake out the legs. Grab a block, preferably a cork block, or you can use foam ones and just stack them up. But the cork is nice because you can put it nice and high. And then you can try again, coming into a squat, and then having that block there to sit on. Okay, you can also do this with a chair. So if you wanted to pull up a chair, if it was too much to go deep, then you can do that as well. Okay, so we'll work this for about a minute or so. So you're either using a chair, or you're using a block on its highest setting, or its medium setting. So even if it's really comfortable for you to be in this malasana or garland pose, as it's called, still use the support. Okay, and we'll practice having the elbows inside the knees and the hands together. So you can work the elbows toward the inner thighs more. We have this action so that we can press the palms into each other to help open the legs, as we're also able to lengthen through the spine. So just practice being here. This is excellent for learning to breathe better as well, and amazing for your posture. Maybe even close your eyes. Pull that breath in and out of the nose. Push the breath down to your lower belly and feel also now the expansiveness of your ability to press the breath down the back of your lungs. As if you're trying to breathe into the back of your hips. Feel the lengthening through the back of your head and neck. Good, and you can stay here, or if it's available, just gently release your fingers to the ground. Keep your hips and legs as they are, and just let your head relax with your fingertips on the ground. Breathe in, breathe out. Really beautiful release for the spine here. So much about beginning a yoga practice is very simply just doing a little bit every day. So doing these beginner classes, do them every day. It's only 40 minutes. You could even split it up in two. When you're ready, inhale, come all the way up. But getting to practice the things that really help your body feel good, right? That's what's going to encourage the development of your practice. Now when you're ready from here, we'll come out of this pose. So depending on your hips, maybe you can have your hands on the ground and just press into the feet to lift the hips up. You might not need your fingers on the ground, but see what's up. Eventually just set the block aside and then lower your bum down onto the mat. We did a lot of work today. Hands behind the thighs and just roll yourself down onto the back. Make sure your shoulder blades feel flat, and we can open arms wide like a T. And then nice and easy, the soles of your feet come to each other as your knees open wide. Now if this is really uncomfortable, you can avoid it altogether, or you can put blocks underneath your outer thighs for support. Notice the beautiful breath. And start to encourage the breath into your belly a little bit more. Just allow your body to receive all the stuff we went through today. And slowly use that leg strength to bring the legs back together. And then slowly, one leg at a time, lengthens all the way down. You could bring the feet about as wide as your yoga mat. Let the toes relax and the arms relax. Close down through the eyes. And very simply, without judgment, take your inner gaze toward your third eye, which is up in between your eyebrows. And this is the space we can connect with our pineal gland awareness. But before we get too deep into it, let's simply we can be here with ourselves without judgment for our experience. Just for a few breaths, allow yourself to settle in. Notice the balance across your hips and shoulders. Notice your breath. Bringing a nice full breath all the way in and out. Slowly bend through one knee and then the other. Bring your knees into your chest for a lovely little hug and maybe a gentle rock side to side. Beautiful. And then when you're ready, you could roll to one side or roll straight up. Come into a seated position that's comfortable for you. Let's bring our palms to prayer in front of the heart, or you could have your hands onto your thighs, maybe even in Chin Mudra. And let's bring a full breath in of loving gratitude into ourselves. And a full breath out of loving gratitude to everyone else. And thank you for our practice today. Namaste. So that's session number 3 of this lovely beginner series. So yeah, do these classes again and again and again. And before you know it, you'll feel super solid in all of this stuff. So until next time, have a great day.